Hello everyone, this is Joanna. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new, welcome, and I hope you stay here and I hope you like what you hear. These are going to be your messages for the month of October. I have made a point on most of the videos to be very vocal about what my intention is with these messages. And I was actually asked by my spiritual team to let you know what that intention is and the purpose for why I do this. And the main reason why I do this for you, why I give you messages, is to give you tools and understandings so that you can apply it in your life in a way that allows you to feel freer, to feel much more empowered, to feel less stuck, to feel much happier. So that is what my intention is with every single message that I receive from Spirit. So whether you are a Taurus or whether you are Virgo, whether you are Scorpio or some other sign, whatever comes through these messages for you, they're meant to make you think, they're meant to make you stop and pause, and they're meant to make you reevaluate perhaps some things in your life. That also means that the focus isn't as much on predictions, and the basic idea for it, or the main reason for it, is the predictive component of your future is very much tied to you and who you are as a person and what your beliefs are. So for me to say this is going to happen is very much dependent on where you're at. And I think most of you get that. But my greatest joy and my greatest wish for you is always to hear that my messages help you, because they help you stop and think, and as a result of that you reevaluate some things, you shuffle some things in your mind, and you begin to have a brand new perspective which changes your perception of everything. So that is my intention for you, and it's important that I say this to you so that when you listen to this, you may say, that's not for me, I want to know what's going to happen. Or you may say, this is exactly for me because I want to know what's preventing me from certain things in my life. These messages, as you notice, are coming early for you. I will try to make it a habit of making them early. It is not the easiest task with my full plate, but I will do the best I can. I am also going to be offering live sessions on YouTube, so stay tuned. And I will do my best to do one in October. So stay tuned. This will be, I will let you know. And as always, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Without you, I always say, I wouldn't do this. And it brings me great joy and great happiness to see your comments on how my messages help you. And I think that's all I have. I hope you enjoy these. Of course, if it doesn't make sense to you at the beginning of when you hear it, listen to it towards the end of the month. You guys tell me that more often than not, it applies to you way more. So without further ado, let's get moving. Hello, beautiful Virgos. These are going to be your messages for the month of October 2018. Let me first tune in to some of the messages that I have. All right. So the number 10 is being shown to me. 10th is the month of October, or October is the 10th month. So yes, that could mean something. But what this is telling me is that many of you are approaching the end of a very important cycle in your life. And there is a decision for you to be made, or you will be making very shortly. I also felt that it's time to go. It's time to move on. The symbol actually of having learned a lesson was being presented to me, and the number 7 is symbolizing awakening or an enlightenment. So it sounds like many of you are about to or have learned some very important lesson in your life, and it is time now to move on. We'll see if there is any more specifics with this, but this to me always symbolizes needing to leave a situation, needing to walk away emotionally, and that card actually did come up. So it's common message. It implies that there are new beginnings for you very shortly, but not until something comes to an end. And a lot of this is emotional. having an emotional ending or emotionally detaching from something, the emotionally disconnecting allows us to move on. Sometimes we can end something physically, but emotionally still be very attached, which will derail us from where we are going. So that is what I'm being shown as well. Crossroads is also being shown, but anytime I see someone going through an end of a cycle, it always implies there's choices and decisions to be made. In other words, some things that you have done for so long will no longer be the things you do going forward, which also symbolizes change. What am I hearing? I also feel like it's a sense of accomplishment. I'm seeing somebody patting you on the back. This could be a metaphor for basically saying, job well done. Now that you have all this information, go and apply it. So this can symbolize tremendous amount of knowledge that you have gained over the last few months, few years, something that you were working on very hard. Could be a hobby, of course, or it could be something else. You begin to practice new way of thinking and believing. But now that you have all the tools, now the universe says, okay, now go and apply it. So it feels like you will be tested. Some of your knowledge or your newfound wisdom will be put to a test. An example is being given this. If you come from a place of lack of abundance, or if you come from a place of lack and you look at your life and notice how the lack belief keeps you stuck in certain situations, and then you decide to work on it, and then you change how you think about yourself, which changes the way you view the world, and then you start moving on with life, and you realize you're starting to attract something very different for yourself as a direct result of what you just have learned, of what you've just learned. I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm kind of getting off of here, but it is also important for you to learn to how to flow with the flow, how to go with the flow, which also tells me that some of you may be resisting the change that's happening, and maybe resisting perhaps, the change that is happening. When you decide to let go of the need to succeed, you will be amazed at what happens. So this is interesting because this talks about someone having a need to succeed. And the word need has a little bit of desperation to it, and it feels to me like it comes from a place of lack. So anytime we have a feeling of desperation, it's something that we will cling to, push away. However we approach it, it always stems from the place of lack. So why am I saying all this? Because it's important for you to remember where you're going. Therefore, being stuck in your past won't help you. Your current way of thinking and believing makes it much more doable to give you what you want. In other words, your level of attraction and your ability to manifest is amplified with this new way of thinking and believing. So I don't know who I'm talking to. This is specific but not specific message. But I hope I'm talking to every single one of you, because if that's the case, then you're going to move mountains. One of the other messages that I saw is that you need to release resistance. Any resistance that you have towards something in your life represents an area for you to look at. In other words, if there are sets of conditions happening in front of you and it's coming and you're resisting, but it's coming, ask yourself why the resistance. What is it about this that you need to resist so much? And it's generally because we're scared of something. So release resistance to whatever is happening, or to whatever is coming. Going back again to the lesson being learned, I wrote here that there's new doors that are going to be open for you in the near future. But again, to me, it's the same message as saying there is a brand new beginning. There are opportunities on this journey for you, but you first have to let go of this in order to get there. And letting go of this also talks about being too much attached to what happened in the past, and not enough effort is being put to what is happening at the moment, which brings me to my first card. The overall message for the month of October is living in the now. So this is literally what I just said. And this is asking you to focus on simplifying your life by focusing on what you have versus what you don't have. In order to do that, you have to allow yourself to be still so that you can notice what it is that you actually have. And what this will do, it will allow you to feel much more centered. And when you are much more centered, you are more likely to attract things in a bigger way than if you were, let's say, freaking out. Or another way of saying is this. If you always believe something is wrong, you will eventually begin to see that in front of you. However, if you change your belief to life is great for the most part, you will begin to see that for yourself very clearly. So depending on what you put your thought on, you will look for it in your outside environment. In other words, what you think, you will attract. So it's important for you to be aware of your thinking, which is also implying you need to allow yourself to be still. Analyzing your thoughts, looking in deeper into your motives, looking deeper into who you are as a person, your deep conditionings, all that can only happen when we allow ourselves to be still. So this also speaks to meditation. Meditation, I feel, is important any month, not just month of October, but for you in particular, it will help you deal with certain things that you are going through, and we're all going through something. It will keep you more still inside. In other words, it'll keep your anxiousness or anxiety at bay. So living in a moment is one of those things. You have the card of serendipity in this position. And what this is telling me is that if you have been in a situation where you thought it was perfect, everything, he was the one, she was the one, the job was the one, the career was the one, whatever was the one, like you felt like you won the jackpot and it didn't work out, it is because sometimes we are presented with situations in order to give us the tools that we need further down on the road. So if you have lost something recently, and this is not about somebody going to the other side. That is not what I mean. This is loss of a job, loss of a partner, some sort of a betrayal, anything that came as a surprise for you. Its ending came as a surprise. It is important for you to know that it gave you important skills to deal with certain situations. Particularly how you come into the conversation. So it has allowed you to be stronger in who you are, but it's now time to move on to something different or something better or something bigger. And this is especially for those of you who had a partner and you felt he or she was the one, and all of a sudden they disappear and you're like, what the hell just happened? And you are not expecting it. And the message is sometimes these people or these situations will be presented to you in order to help you see something very important that will help you down the road, but you can't see it yet. So there's a need of acceptance. There's a need to accept something in your life. You have the Eight of Cups, which is walking away, which is emotionally moving away from something that no longer worked, or for something that was at some point satisfying, but is no longer. It's missing something. It is also moving through, I'm going to rephrase. moving past what happened and more into what you will do or what you will be going forward. This is a very specific message, so I'm hoping it's going to make sense to somebody. But it does signify needing to leave something behind. Now, the beginning of the message was time to go, lesson learned. So this will mean something to you for those of you who are meant to have it. You have Three of Pentacles. So some of you are leaving a friendship. No, it's not a friendship. Yes, it could be friendship, but some of you are leaving a group of individuals that you worked with together. This could be a group of friends, this could be a group of co-workers, this could be people you did things together with. It's some of you need to walk away from that. Why? Because you no longer feel like you are part of the group. You feel like you're no longer on the same page. There is something there that's missing for you, that is no longer satisfying in that relationship. For some of you, you're moving on from something that you thought was the one or the thing to something new, and perhaps even something better. For many of you, this is going to be a financial situation where you are leaving one set of money earning opportunities, and you're moving on to something different. The one thing that is important for you to address and acknowledge, particularly at this time, is how your feelings affect your actions. So this is really important. The shark to me signifies, number one, shark is a predator, and I don't know about you, but I think they're amazing, but they're freaky. They kind of get you out of nowhere, which implies they're very stealthy, and they live and hunt oftentimes in a lot of depth. In other words, these creatures can get you when you're not careful. This is talking about the things you're not aware of, or the things that you are keeping down. In other words, what are some of your shadows that are being exposed right now? What are some of the unhealthy ideas and behaviors that you have around relationships that is now surfacing for you? What are some of the things that are coming up as a result of you needing to end something, or something needing to end? You have Three of Cups in reverse, which to me, it can talk about betrayal. It can talk about feeling left out, feeling betrayed. There is an end of some sort of emotional friendship, and oftentimes it is not the most pleasant. But I feel this is for those of you who are already going through it. It's not necessarily something that's going to happen down the road, or those of you who are aware already of what it is that I am talking about. By the book message is all about following the rules. And this is not about blindly following somebody's rules. This is about following the universal laws. One of the things that's being mentioned here is what you believe you attract, or you are who you believe. In other words, like attracts like. So you cannot escape from this very basic universal law. In other words, if you firmly believe that you are, for example, not enough, that is what you will attract, as ruled by the law of attraction. Like attracts like. So it is important for you to look at those things, particularly now, and maybe address some underlying issues you haven't had time to address, or felt that were not important. Many of these things will come up for you seemingly out of nowhere. So this is you being triggered. And it sounds like it's a bad month. No, actually it's not. It's just, we go through stuff all the time, but this is meant to be for you guys. For whatever reason, you're meant to know this. You're meant to see this. You're meant to hear this. And it is mostly because when and if it happens in any area of your life, and it could be really not that big of a deal, but it takes you by surprise. When and if that happens, you can go through this message and see how that applies. And notice what comes up as a result of you feeling a certain way. there seems to be internal volatility going on, which is a lot of stirred up emotions. So you guys are getting triggered, but I think we're all getting triggered all the time. Something is happening in the month of October that will, for one, open your eyes to some things that is really important, and also open your eyes to something that will help you let go of few things and end this chapter. And ending this chapter is the same as saying, well, it's end of a cycle. The emptiness card is about total integration. And integration, I believe, happens as a result of going through some uncomfortable moments and looking at things we don't want to look at, our shadows, expose the things that we're most fearful of, and realize there's really nothing there. In other words, it's the fear of the fear almost that we're the most afraid of. Anyways, I'm getting way off track here. But this is also symbolizing an end of a cycle. This card in this particular deck symbolizes you've come full circle. And as a result, more balance will ensue. And I think that's all I have. July comes up as a month of importance, so maybe this already transpired in the month of July. Also 7 is the number of enlightenment. So definitely an opportunity for you to feel much more enlightened in the month of October and in the month of November. So for about 8 from now, whenever you're listening to it, till about, let's say, mid of November or thereabouts. Never forget about yourself as needing to be the first one to be taken care of. In other words, your responsibility number 1 is to you. No, that does not imply that you are to be selfish and not help other people or take care of everybody else. No, but at the end of the day, if you are not well, nobody's getting the best version of you. So it is important, not only that, but it is your responsibility to take care of yourself first, particularly those of you who are used to overgiving. For one, you know it doesn't work, and 2, it leaves you feeling very unbalanced, and that leads to often feelings of not being happy. All right. Time to go. Whatever that means to you, I hope this was helpful. If this doesn't make sense to you when you first hear it, listen to it a little bit later. Generally, you tell me it makes amazing sense at the end of the month. Of course, for private sessions, that information is down below for you. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing, and for subscribing. And what else do I want to say? Yeah, have yourself a wonderful month of October. Take care of yourself. Good luck, and see you soon.